Hello guys, we're going to do an introduction to C++. So in C++, we have a well-round of almost everything. You build things from scratch in C++, and it's very hard to implement some of the things in this language as it requires you to almost each and every time specify what you want to do. Unlike other languages where you just do what you're doing, in the C language and its derivatives, you have to specify almost everything that you have to do. So let's get into it. Let's start with data types. Now, in data types, we have int, which is an integer, and it takes numbers, well, whole numbers, actually. Then the second one, we have a float, which is rarely used. And a float is just a number to the power of something. Something like this. Then we have a double. A double is just a number with 2 decimal points. And then we have a boolean, which takes only 2 values. Either it's true or false. Then we have a string. A string is placed in double quotations. And then we have char or character, and it's placed in 1 quotation mark. It only takes 1 value, right? If you write something like name in a character, at times it takes the first character, other times it takes the last character. It's inconsistent, but these are the data types that we're going to be working with. And then we have something that we call variable declaration. And when you declare variables, you can either start, well, no, you start with letters. If you start with what do you call them, operators or numbers, you are going to almost get errors when you try to use your variables, right? Let's say, for example, you want to take the name of player 1, right? You're going to say the string of player 1. We use camel case, but you should never say 1 player. This is something else. You should never say player 1 with a space, right? You shouldn't do this. It's either you write this player 1 or you state player underscore 1. And another thing, when you declare variable names, don't include the asterisk, the division, the plus, the minus, or something. What do you call this? Percentage. Don't include this in your variable namings. Even the space, don't include them. Right? That's that. Even in int, maybe you want age, say age. You want second age, you say second age. Or maybe age 2. As long as the number is not appearing at the first character. As long as the number is not here, it's fine. Now let's go to the streams. The first stream that you have to know is the I stream, in which it's called the input stream. This stream works with cin. Whatsoever that you're putting in your program, or whatsoever that you're taking from the users, it requires the I stream, the input stream. And then again, we have the O stream, which is the output stream. And this stream works with Cout, the common output. This is common input. This is common output. So the O stream works when you are taking whatsoever data you have or things that you have on your program so that the user is able to read. Those are O stream. O streams, or that's an O stream. Then we have a derivative, which is an IO stream, which is a combination of the I and the O stream. And we use this one throughout the programs, or when we are studying our program of C++. Now, again, we have a standard library, std. Maybe you've seen that when AI, if you've tried using AI, it will say std blah blah cout. I think it's double columns, cout, and then whatsoever that's in here, right? Now the standard library, it's used with the namespace std. Maybe no, it's that on your header using namespace std. This is just going to eliminate the repetition of std throughout the whole program. And it's actually faster when you using namespace std, right? Then again, we have other header files. IO stream is denoted in this header file. And then we have .h headers, in which they are denoted in I'm sorry about it. They are denoted in these ones. And usually I use these headers. Well, most of the people, if not me, well, we use these header files just to look to mention that this file is not in a library. It's actually in a folder, or the current folder that where we have our main program in, right? So the source.h just tells the main that we have a source.h in the same directory as the main. So please include this in your program as you are going on and on, right? Okay, now let's write an example code or an exemplar code. So the first thing that you write is this pound key. I think this is called the pound key or something. Include IO stream. And then to eliminate the std throughout the code, you say using namespace std. Don't forget that semicolon. Then the first thing, or your body, is the int main. I can't say the first thing, sorry about that. So it's going to be the int main. And the int main always has a return type of 0. So I'm just going to avoid writing that because I don't know how long the code or whatsoever that I'm going to write in here is going to be. Then we're going to have our int num. Now let's say num plus plus. Then we see out num. Then we have a return type. Then our program is done. Now what this is going to do, because we have num plus plus, it's just going to return the output is going to be I forgot to initialize my number, so used initializing, say 4, right? So the output is going to be 5 actually, because we have num plus plus. But what if we take that num plus plus and put it inside our code? How is it going to be like? Still, it's going to be 5. Okay, now let's try another thing. We are couting the num itself, and then we out a plus plus num, right? So what's going to be the output? Now the output is going to be 4, and then the other output is going to be 5. Okay, this is called this one right here, it's called the pre-incrementing of something, the number. We are incrementing the number. So if you pre-increment the number, it's going to be used as that the num is going to change and be pre-incremented, and it's going to be used throughout. Okay, so for example, when it's like this, we have a pre-incrementation of the number. So now the output is going to be 5 and 5, because for starters you said 1 plus 5, which is plus 4, which is going to be 5. That's pre-incrementation. And then this one is going to be used throughout. So when you call out the number again, it's going to be 5. Unlike in post-incrementation, where you say 5 plus 1, it's going to be 4. Sorry about that. Unlike in post-incrementation, then it's just going to be 4 whenever you call it. So num plus plus doesn't change anything, but plus plus num changes the initialized value of whatsoever is there to another value incremented by 1. And we're going to use that value, that pre-incremented value, throughout our whole code. Okay, so that's that. Okay, now let's move to the loops and whatsoever. We have the while, and then we have the do, while, then we have a for loop, the only loops that I have, and then we have control. I think they're called control statements. If else, then switch case. Okay, now we're going to start with this part, if then else, and the switch case. But I won't talk about the switch case. It's just an example that I was actually giving. So my let's say you want to check voting eligibility. Now you know that you only vote when you are greater or equal to 18, which is greater than 17, but they don't actually encourage us to say that you should be greater than 17 years of age. Rather, you say greater or equal to 18. So when you want to check if someone is eligible to vote, is it eligible or ineligible? I don't know. English isn't my first language. So you're going to write that if statement. If no, let's start by initializing the age. So let's say our age is equal to 19, right? Now, if age is greater or equal to 18, you run that I'm going to say return rather than see out. Okay, so return is just going to be see out, right? So you're going to return eligible to vote, right? That's the if statement. Now we have the if then else statement. Let's say the same thing. The age now is like 16. Let's say 16. If your age is greater than 18, the program should return eligible to vote. Else, the program should return too young to vote. This is the if and the if then else statements. Right, now let's go to the loops. Now let's move into the for loop. Now the for loop is going to increment as long as the condition is true. It works like a while loop and a do while loop, but for this one it's different. Let's start by initializing. The initialization. So let's say we have an int called the sum, right? And then for this loop to work, we're going to initialize an I, int I equal 0. Now, as long as I is less than 4, it's going to run, and we're going to iterate I by 1 each and every time, right? So in the body, let's say that the sum is equal to I plus I for argument's sake, right? Then we return the sum. Okay, and this is going to be it. Now for I equal 0, we have I plus I. So the first I is going to be 0. So the sum is going to be 0. Now I is going to be 1. So the sum is going to be 2. Then I goes to 2. Then the sum is going to be 4. Then I has 3. The sum is going to be 8. 3, it's 6. Mathematics. Yep, it's going to be 6. Right. So this is how the for loop works. So for you, you can initialize anything, maybe num, int. Here you can put anything. Let's say you can put any name. Let's just say number is equal to 0. The number, maybe let's say as long as it's less than 4, then we iterate the number plus plus, then we close, we open curly braces. Let's say here we're going to return, instead of cout I'll write return. We return the number first, then we say the num is equal to number plus number. Then we return the number, right? And then that's it. So the first thing that we're going to return is the number. So number is going to be 0. Then again 1, 2, 3. Now we go to the summation. Oh no, I said num here, so let's go to the num. Now num for the first one is going to be 0, because 0 plus 0 is 0. Then num, 1 plus 1 is 2, so num will be 2. Then here num will be 3. Then on the last part the num will be, sorry about that, it's 4. Then on the last one it's going to be 6. Right, this is how it works. Okay, but then again you can say something. Maybe let me say that num, or I, let me say I, because we are going to be using I for the most part in the for loop. For int I equals 0, as long as I is less than 5, and I should iterate as long as I is less than 5. You can say that I equal to I plus I, right? This is the same as saying I plus equal to I. It's going to give you the same thing. You can try it out in your IDEs. I equal to I plus I is the same as I plus equal to I. Now let me give you something to work on, right? You're going to create a code with the for loop that's going to add the previous number with the current number. Okay, so first things first, you're going to initialize your sum to 0, because if you don't initialize your sum, it's going to give you a big negative number, if not a positive number. Now the program should output the following, but it shouldn't output everything. Okay, this is just a simulation, and then this is the actual. Okay, so in the simulation you're going to have I equals 0 for starters, then I equal 1, I equal 2, I equal 3. Now the actual, the sum is going to be 0 for starters. Now 0 plus 1 is going to be 1. 1 plus 2 is going to be 3. 3 plus 3 is going to be 6. 6 plus 4 is going to be 10. 10 plus 5 is going to be 15, and so on and so on, right? This is what it should be actually outputting, this part only. Okay, Just test your knowledge. I know I didn't say much, but with that information, or with that information that I've given you, this is actually possible to do because I showed you this. I also showed you this. So it's going to be easy for you to uh, do whatsoever. The simulation is I, then the actual is the sum, right? So this is your output right here. Now let's go to the while loop. Let's go to the while loop. Now how a while loop works is pretty easy. Now as we said, while a condition is true, maybe while the age, no, maybe while number is not equal to 4, maybe let's say return drink water. Right? Or maybe let's say while number is less than 4 actually. While number is less than 4, we return drink water. Then we're going to increment, oh, I'm so used to I. We're going to increment number. Right. This is how it's going to go like. So let's say we initialize number to 0. So is 0 less than 4? Yes, we're going to return drink water. Now number plus 1 plus plus is going to be 1. Is 1 less than 4? Yes, we return drink water. 2 number, we return because 2 is less than 4. And 3 we are also going to return. And then at 4 is not less than 4, it's equal to 4. So we're going to terminate our while loop because the number now is equal to 4 and not less than 4. We're just going to have 4 of these because we initialized our number to 0, right? If we had our number at 1, we're going to have 3 outputs, right? Yes. Now you can do whatsoever you want to do with the while statement. There's no something for you to work on the while statement because it's pretty easy to understand. Even the do while. You say do return lovely day. While number is less than 2, maybe. Now while number is less than 2. Come on, why are you turning off? Right, then we say number plus plus. Again, maybe let's initialize the number to be 0. Now while number is less than 2, do return lovely day. So it's going to return lovely day, and then it's going to stop. Well, it's going to return again lovely day because it's 0, and then it's going to stop. Alright, this is the do while loop. I'll give you an exercise on this one after maybe the lecturer is formally introduced this one. I mean these two, right? The while and the do while. Or maybe I'll just do it sooner. Okay. So this is almost what you have. And don't forget to write this. Write a code with the for loop that's going to add the previous number with the current number. And then that's it.